Okay, for this project I'm going to be using a size I 5.5mm crochet hook, and I'm just going to be doing an easy pot holder. I wanted to make something easy for any beginners that I have that are subscribers, or even the experienced. Is fun to make easy things sometimes. But you need to use, for the pot holders, you need to make sure you use 100% cotton yarn. My tag got ripped off, but I'm using Peaches and Cream. If you don't use 100% cotton, acrylic won't stand up to the heat. See, it needs to be 100% cotton. It doesn't have to be this brand, but just make sure that it's cotton. Otherwise, it'll melt. First thing we want to do is start with a slip knot. And we're going to do a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I want to slip stitch into the first to form a ring. So just go ahead and slip stitch into that first ring. Just go through both loops like that. Now I have a ring right here. So now I'm going to start off by chaining 3. 1, 2, and 3. And now that chain 3 is going to count as a double crochet. And we need to have 12 total double crochets. And I'm going to work the rest of them through the center of the ring. So I'm just going to yarn over and go through the center of the ring. And grab my yarn and draw up a loop. And finish out my double. So counting that chain 3, that's 2 doubles. And I need 12 total. So I'm just going to keep going through the center until I get to 12. Pull these, slide these over. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and count. So here's my chain 3 counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need to do a couple more. 11 and 12. Now what we want to do is slip stitch into the top of the very first chain 3 that we made. So count 1, 2, 3. Here's the top of it. So just go into it, slip stitch, and that will close that round off. And then you can pull your tail down here, and it'll make that center circle a little bit smaller, like that. Okay, now I want to start my next round by chaining 3 again. And this chain 3 is going to count as a double crochet. And the chain 3 is always going to count as a double crochet for the rest of the project. So now we're going to increase this circle by going right back into the same stitch, this one right here, that we just slip stitched into, and do another double crochet. like that. So that's an increase. You got 2 stitches in one, 2 double crochet in that one stitch. Now I'm going to work my way around, putting 2 double crochets in every stitch from the previous round. So I'm going to put 2 in this one. Here's the next one. I'm going to put 2. My yarn's all tangled, like always. If you're new to my channel, and this is the first video that you've ever watched, you'll know that I'm a little unorthodox. My desk is always a mess. My yarn's always tangled, but I still make it work. So I'm just continue going around, putting 2, gosh, I got lots of strings in my yarn, 2 double crochets in every stitch. And then I'll move to my next one and put 2. And then in my next stitch, I'll put 2. And you just want to continue around putting 2 in every stitch. And at the end of this round, you'll have a total of 24 double crochets. Okay, once you make it back around and you count it and you have 24 stitches, you want to slip stitch again into the top of the third, or the chain 3. So 1, 2, slip stitch right there, and the third stitch of the chain 3. And that closes that round out. Now we're going to chain 3 again. Okay. Now we're going to do increases again. Now this counts as 1 double crochet. So we want to just put 1 here, and we're going to jump right over here to the next stitch right here, and we're going to put 2 double crochets in that stitch. So put 2 into the same stitch. So there's 1 in this one and then 2 in this one. So this next one, we're just going to put 1 again, 1 double crochet. And then the next one after that, we'll put 2 again. And then we'll work into the next one, which we'll just put 1. And then the next stitch we'll have 2 double crochets. And when you put 2 stitches, when I put 2 double crochets in the 1 stitch, that's called an increase stitch. So I'm just going to call it that from now on. So the pattern for this round is 1 double crochet and then an increase into the next. 1 double crochet and then an increase into the next. 1 double and then an increase, and then 1 double into the next, and then an increase stitch into the next, where we put 2 doubles in the same stitch. And you just want to repeat this pattern all the way back around to the beginning. Okay, I made it back around at the end of my 3rd row, and you should have a total of 36 stitches at the end of this row. And again, you want to slip stitch into the top of your chain 3 like that. Now we'll chain 3 again, and I'll show you the pattern for this round. This counts as our first double crochet, so you want to go ahead into the next stitch and put 1 double crochet. So you got 2 double crochets in the first 2 stitches. Now the next stitch will be an increase. It will get 2 double crochets. And now we want to put a double crochet into the next. and then a double crochet into the next, and then 2 double crochets into the next. And that's the pattern this time around. It's double crochet, and then increase. Double crochet, and then an increase. And you just follow that pattern around. 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet into the next, and then the increase. And you just follow that back around to the beginning. Back around again, and I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the top of my chain 3. And at the end of this round, you need to have a total of 48 stitches. So we're going to go again and chain 3. And now we're going to start with our next pattern. This counts as our 1 double crochet. So we're going to go ahead and put 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet into the one after that. And then the next stitch will get an increase. It'll get 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So then we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next, 1 double crochet in the next, 1 double crochet in the next. So that's 3 double crochets, and then an increase into the next. What we're doing by increasing every round, we're gradually increasing. And since we're gradually increasing, it's letting our circle lay flat. If we whenever we decide to not increase anymore, that's when the sides will start to come up and it won't lay flat anymore. So what we're going to do is go ahead and put 1 double crochet in the next, 1 double crochet into the next, and 1 double crochet into the next. So that's 3 double crochets in a row, and then we'll increase into the next stitch, 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So that's going to be the pattern this time around. You got 3 double crochets, you can see them right here, 1, 2, 3, in between each of the increase stitches. So there's 2 in this one stitch and 2 in this stitch, and 3 double crochets in between. So just repeat that pattern back around. Made it to the end of that round, and I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, and you need to have a total of 60 stitches at the end of that round, and we have 5 rows done. I'm going to go ahead and clip my yarn now, and I have the dullest scissors ever, and then I'm going to hide this tail real quick. And then I'm going to put some type of edging around it. To hide your tail, you just want to use your yarn needle and just kind of weave this leftover string in the back a few times, just till you feel like it's secure enough that it won't come undone. Just under a few stitches. Go every which way with it. And then when you feel like it's hidden good enough and ain't gonna come out, you can clip it off. And you want to do the same to this tail too. I'll do that in just a little bit though off camera. I'm gonna go ahead and put an edging around it. So I'm going to use a different color for it, and of course you don't have to, you can use any color that you want. But I started with the slip knot, and I'm going to go ahead and just pick any stitch that I want to start in. I'm going to go into it and have the slip knot on my hook. Just pull through, and then pull through that slip knot on your hook. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to go into the same stitch that I just slip stitched into and do a single crochet. And then I'm going to do a chain of 4. And then I want to skip. I'm going to skip a 1 stitch, and I'm going to go ahead and single crochet into the next, just like that. And then I'm going to do a chain 4 again, skip a stitch, and then single crochet into the next, chain 4, 3, 4, skip this stitch and single crochet into the next, chain 4, skip a stitch, single crochet into the next, chain 4, skip a stitch, single crochet into the next. So I just want to repeat this pattern all the way back to the beginning. Chain 4, skip, single crochet. So I'm going to go all the way around, and I'll meet you right back up here. Okay, I made it back around. I just did my last chain 4 here, and I should have 1 stitch left, so that's going to be the stitch that I skip. And then I want to slip stitch into my first single crochet, like that. Now we're just going to work directly into this first loop, so just go right into the loop and do a single crochet. And now we're going to work 4 double crochets through the same loop. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and now another single through the same loop, like that. And now we're just going to jump right over here to the next loop. Just jump right over and do a single crochet into it. And then 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then a single in the same loop, like that. So that's what it kind of looks like here. And then we just jump right over again to the next loop with a single crochet. And then we do 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, and you want to do a single in the same loop, and then jump over to the next loop and start with the single again. So that's what we're going to do all the way around our whole piece. We're going to do a single, 4 doubles, a single in each one of the loops. Made it back all the way around, and I'm right here. I just did my last single crochet in this. What I want to do is slip stitch into the first single crochet, and that will close that off, and you can clip your yarn and hide your tails. So I'll go ahead and hide my tails. Okay, here it is, all done. And you can leave it like this if you want, but I'm going to put a piece of fabric on the back, and that's not anything that you have to do, but I'll show you how if you want to. So I cut a piece of fabric that I was going to use already. I just cut it around about a 1/2 inch bigger than the whole entire piece. I'm only going to fabric up to here. I'm not going to fabric these the outside shell stitching, just the inside. But once you get that done, and then I got a piece of round, just a fiber fill stuff, and I cut it to the size just to give it some padding, and you don't have to do that either. And it's just got a piece of white, plain old white fabric sewn to the back. This is actually just a leftover piece of a quilt backing, and I just cut it to size. So the white is going to be, the fabric's going to be here. If you just have regular fiber fill, just put a piece of fabric on the underside of it so it doesn't show through. But here's my back side, so it's going to go like this. Here's my back. There you go. So now I'm going to take my piece of foam backing, and I'm going to have this little piece of fabric I want facing this way. Just any scrap piece of fabric that you have will work, just so it ain't the direct foam fill showing on the underneath side. And then I'm going to take this, I'm going to move this out of the way for now, my piece of fabric, foam fill side up, like that, good side up, and I'm going to kind of go around it and kind of pin my fabric around it the best that I can into a circle shape. You just gotta work with it for a little bit. It's gonna look now. I pretty much got the fabric pinned onto this, and now this is where we'll do a little bit better. We'll get some more pins. Now we're gonna pin it on to this before we sew it, and we'll be able to straighten out these little points a little bit better. Now this is how I do it. If you know a better way to do it, you can do it any way that you know how. But so I'm just gonna kind of straighten out my points, and it's not gonna be perfect, but and then I'm gonna pin it on to my pot holder this time around. Straighten out the edges, make them look a little bit rounder. You just gotta kind of work with it. I'm still leaving the pins in from where I pinned it to the foam fill. But now I'm just pinning it, straightening it out and pinning it to the pot holder part. And like I said, you just got to work with it quite a bit to get it to round out. So I'm just going to keep going along now, and I'm just straightening out my pointy edges and pinning it to my pot holder, and then we'll sew it on. We can take out some of these pins and be finished. Okay, I got it pretty much pinned up pretty round around the edges. Good enough for me. We're doing it by hand, so it's not gonna be perfect. I got it all pinned up. Now I threaded my needle. You want to get a thread that matches pretty well, and a regular sewing needle. And then I just doubled my thread. So I just pulled it through. And now I take my 2 pieces at the end, and I'm going to put a knot in them. So what I always do is just take them and roll them on my finger. Put a nice tight knot like that, and then I can clip that little extra tails with my doll scissors. Okay, now I'm going to sew this on. It's going to be a little time consuming. If you have a sewing machine, you can use a sewing machine, but just start anywhere. And I'm going to start, since I have a knot on the end of my thread, I'm just going to go through this piece first so you can't see that knot on the other side. So I'm just going to go directly through it. There, now the knot will be underneath. And now I'm just going to work my way around and putting some stitches in it. And I'm going to try to get it as neat as possible. Just going to go all the way through to the other side. And if you have a good matching thread, you won't have to try to hide the stitches. But if you want to try to hide the stitches, all you got to do is wait for my camera to focus in. Here's where my thread came out. I'm just going to go up under the inside of this one and then back through. And that's just the easy way you can hide your stitches. Try to make them look kind of lined up and neat. Pull it back through, and then I'm going to go back through again. Try to make my stitches about the same size. And then go up under this next stitch and then back through. And it's a little time consuming, but like I said, you don't even have to sew this on the back if you don't want. It's just something neat. I'm going to go ahead and move this pin now. You can move your pins as you go along. This is pretty much all there is to it. Really, it's easy. Time consuming, but easy. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working around and getting this piece of fabric sewed on here. And I'll meet back up with you in just a few minutes when I get it finished. Got that all sewed on, and trust me, it is far from perfect because it's homemade and it's not going to be perfect. So don't stress about yours. Now I'm just gonna, I always just kind of hide my tail from my thread the same way I do from yarn. I just weave it in a few times underneath all these stitches. That's what I do, but you could probably knot it up and stuff. Just, if you learned it a different way, it's fine. Okay. And that's it. Now you got a nice padded pot holder. think it looks cute. Turned out nice. And I hope that my sewing this padding on wasn't too confusing. It's easy. You just have to work with it quite a bit to get it into the right shape that you want. But other than that, it turned out good. Don't forget to check out all my other tutorials too. And check me out on Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe to me on YouTube. And until next time, have a good day.